Hi everyone, I'm Eric with Wi-Fi-U and welcome back to Ask Wi-Fi-U. Here's a situation almost everyone has experienced. You look at your device and you have full Wi-Fi bars. You're close to the access point, everything looks good, but the network is slow. Maybe web pages take too long to load, video calls are breaking up, or your speed test is much lower than you expected. So what's going on? The answer starts with understanding the difference between signal strength and signal quality. Those Wi-Fi bars primarily give us an indication of the signal strength. We commonly measure received signal strength using RSSI. If a client is receiving the access point signal at neg 48 dBm, for example, that's a good strong signal. But RSSI tells us how strong the signal is being received. It does not by itself tell us how clean that signal is, and that distinction is extremely important. My desired Wi-Fi signal may be very strong, but look at everything else happening in the RF environment. We may have neighboring Wi-Fi networks or other transmitters or even non-Wi-Fi interference that's producing RF energy. A client can still show a strong signal because it hears the access point very well, but now it has to distinguish that signal from everything else that's around it. That brings us to an important measurement called SNR. SNR stands for signal to noise ratio. It describes the difference between our desired signal and the background noise. Suppose our signal is neg 55 and our noise floor is neg 90. The difference between them is 35 dB. Now suppose our signal is still neg 55, but the noise floor rises to 70. Our RSSI hasn't changed. We still have strong signal, but now we only have about 15 dB of separation between signal and the noise. It's the same RSSI, but a different RF environment. As SNR decreases, it becomes more difficult for the receiver to correctly interpret the signal. Think back to the constellation diagrams we've looked at before. Those constellation points are easy for the receiver to distinguish, but as noise and interference increase, the dots become less distinct. Eventually, the receiver may incorrectly interpret the symbols and the frame fails. As we learned in video 6, a failed frame can mean no acknowledgement, and that can result in a retry. But RF quality isn't the only reason full bars can still give us poor performance. Remember, Wi-Fi is a shared medium. I can have an excellent signal and excellent SNR, but if the channel is already extremely busy, I may spend much of my time waiting to transmit. My Wi-Fi bars can still be full. Nothing's necessarily wrong with my connection to the access point. There simply isn't much airtime available. That's why channel utilization is another important piece of the troubleshooting picture. So when you're troubleshooting a client in UniFi, you don't want to look at just one number. RSSI tells us about signal strength. SNR helps us understand the signal quality. Retry rate can indicate that frames are having to be transmitted over and over again. Channel utilization tells us how busy the channel is, and MCS and Phi rates can help show what the connection is actually able to sustain under those conditions. So why can you have full Wi-Fi bars and still have poor performance? Because those bars mostly tell us about signal strength. They don't tell us everything about signal quality or interference, retries, or how much airtime is available. The client can have a strong RSSI but still experience poor SNR. It can have a high retry rate, or it may simply be operating on a very busy channel. So when you look at troubleshooting Wi-Fi performance, don't stop when you see a strong signal. Look at the rest of the RF environment. Thanks for watching Ask Wi-Fi-U. In our Wireless Essentials course, we take a much deeper look at RSSI, SNR, channel utilization, retries, MCS rates, and the other measurements that help us understand what a wireless client is actually experiencing. I'm Eric with Wi-Fi-U, and I'll see you at the next Ask Wi-Fi-U.